We're going to have a little chat, guys. So apparently this just dropped, but it actually happened a few weeks ago. An OpenAI engineer who was working on ChatGPT or working with them from 2020 to 2024 was found to have unalived himself on November 26th. And I just want to kind of go over that a little bit because I think it's a little bit, it says something. It feels like the Boeing wing thing because before they went to court, the guy who was supposed to be on the stand, he unalived himself. Sorry, he's a researcher. My bad. He turned to a whistleblower because he did a interview with the New York Times. His name is, suchir balaji. I'm going to call him Mr. Balaji, which he alleged that OpenAI had violated U.S. copyright law while developing ChatGPT. The article said that after working at the company for 4 years as a researcher, he come to the conclusion that OpenAI's use of copyrighted data to build ChatGPT violated the law, and those technologies like ChatGPT were damaging the internet. It says that its models are based on publicly available data. And after he left the company, that's when he told New York Times everything, since he was working on personal projects. Now, this is really sad, and OpenAI kind of says that it's grounded in fair use and related to international copyright. But we all know that that's bullshit. You know that's bullshit. But there was also a little thing where I saw that Elon Musk had actually retweeted it, and he went, and I think there's, I know, we shouldn't be looking to Elon for nothing. But when Elon goes, I feel like there's something behind that because, weeks after he says something, suddenly he's found that he's unalived himself in his apartment. And the cops say that there's no sense of foul play, but there's that little inkling in the back of your mind where you put the tinfoil hat on for a second. You're like, where he said something against the company. And now suddenly 3 months later after he does this, he's suddenly found in his apartment. I don't know. It's a little bit sus, but a lot of people say that a lot of programmers, well, it's similar with artists. A lot of programmers and artists, they tend to have an issue dealing with depression, so that could be it. But I don't know. I feel like tinfoil hatting. Did OpenAI do something? They have a lot of court cases. They have a lot of people suing them. They're trying to figure out a way around all of these, U.S. copyright bullshit. And I just don't think that they're going to be able to do that long term. They're going to have to start paying people for the stuff they stole. You can't just steal stuff. And I do think that it's a little bit interesting that the New York Times did something on it because there was that video that I talked about a few months ago where people from newspapers went to a judge and they were talking to the judge about how these AI companies can't just take and then not give back, especially when it kind of can mutate the words that come from those places and give out misinformation, because especially if it says that but if it comes straight from the New York Times and then somebody asks a question and then it looks up information it got from the New York Times and then regurgitates it back to a person and it says wrong information, it's almost kind of like making nobody accountable for any of the problems that are wrong with AI. You just want to say, well, it just exists. And no, oh my God, it's the dumbest thing. The longer AI goes without having some kind of accountability, the more likely it is that when it does get that accountability, it's going to be bad for the company or all the companies because you can't escape it forever. And this just confirms what everybody already knew, was that AI is trained on copyrighted data. It's not publicly available data. That's just a reach around, work around nonsense to me. And you know what I personally think? I think that maybe Elon Musk retweeted that because he has a dog in that fight. Because I don't know if you guys knew, but he just stepped up his ongoing feud with OpenAI by adding Microsoft as a defendant. So he really, really, really wants OpenAI to not be a thing. He would rather throw it into the ground. And you know what? He's one of those guys that got money. And I've been saying for a minute, it's going to come down to people who have an egregious amount of money to get the rights for artists and people, because it's not going to be these independents. It's going to be people who have money backing them. And I'm not saying Carla Ortiz's thing is not a thing either, because it is. It's totally important. But I'm saying it's going to be when Disney decides it doesn't like it, when Nintendo decides they don't like it. And OpenAI being the first one to be like, no, we didn't do that. It's publicly available because it's open. That's, ooh, man, I could talk about this all day long, and it's oh my gosh. But this is just a short video. I wanted to put it out there because, this is, OpenAI is toxic. And I mean, if it caused this guy to feel this way, even after he left the job and he exposed them, by being a whistleblower, I mean, it is what it is. It's publicly available knowledge now. It's in the news. You can't take it back. And it's going to be used in all those court cases. And that's good for us, right? Good for us. But I'm really sorry that, it had to come to someone doing that someone would take a deeper look. It shouldn't have even had to come to that. And I think that if there's other people in those workplaces that are having those thoughts and feelings, that maybe they should have gotten help sooner. And by they, I mean, if they're doing something that's stressful, that's causing people to feel like that, maybe there should be resources at those places, because that's just my opinion. But do you guys think that there's more to this, or do you think that this is just someone under too much stress? I don't mean to sound so tinfoily, but it feels wrong. It feels like something's wrong, like there's a lot of stuff going on with OpenAI, and they're desperate. And I feel like if they're that desperate, I wouldn't be surprised if they did something like that. I know I'm uploading this video because I just found out about it, and I think it's terrible what happened to him. And it's feeling like OpenAI is just allegedly being terrible. Just OpenAI in general, just being terrible. There it is. OpenAI is terrible. And I'll see you guys next week. I did find a scam I'm going to be covering next week. So look out for that. I found one online, and I'm going to be exposing it. I got a few more videos coming up. So I hope you guys are having a good weekend and good holidays, and see you in the next one.